One, one, one. Hello, how you guys doing? So this is Neil, the art instructor at masterpaintingnow.com and also the top-selling art instructor at udemy.com. I'm also a best-selling author on Amazon for my How to Draw figure book, which is How to Draw Awesome Figures by Neil Fontaine. Check that out on Amazon. Let's get started here. In this video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to draw, in this case, on a Note 5. But I imagine if you have another phone that, on the Note 5, I just click this to get rid of it. This is to be the program I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using obviously the drawing pen. For those that don't know this, the Note 5 is actually designed, the pen is designed by Wacom. So you're getting that really good feel. And this program really takes advantage of this pen to where you can have the pen pressure, and you'll see that in just a second. And I'm going to show you some tricks with that. I'm not going to do a whole tutorial on how to use the entire application, but I'm going to show you how to use it. Right, so this is the application, and even the free version is pretty cool, but if you buy it, you get a lot more cooler stuff. But it gives you access to everything, I think, for like 7 days, something like that, so you get a feel for the full program, and then it reduces it to the limited program. And to buy it's not that expensive. I think it's a couple bucks. All right, so let's go ahead now and open up Painter, which is here. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn it sideways in a second here. If I turn it sideways right now, then you can it still kind of orientates itself, and you can kind of see the full screen there still. This way I think it'll be better for you guys to watch it on YouTube. Right, so the first thing is you have this little button here. This kind of just collapses your kind of like menu here. Then you also have this here, which gives you you can start a new, you can open a file, you can save a file. So it works like an actual full art program where you can save images, you can upload them to things like I think it has Snapchat, all that, obviously Instagram, Facebook. Really easy to upload. Once you got it done, you just go to export or whatever. You got different settings. You can go in here and change some of the settings if you want to, like how your color wheel works and things like that. Definitely something to just look at real quick if you want to. I'm not actually logged in right now. Not sure why it's not signed in, but it doesn't really matter. This is your layer palette. So to create a new layer, this is super important. To create a new layer, you click here, and then if you want to get rid of a layer, you want to grab it and then just drag it down. This is actually move a layer. If you want to get rid of a layer, I think you have to click here. That's the paper and texture. If you want to add some sort of texture to it, I'm actually trying to remember how to delete the layer now. Sorry about that. It's been a second here for me. Let's see here. What do I do to get rid of layers again? I'm trying to remember what the hell I have to do. It's not there. Wow. Okay. It's been, like I said, it's been a little minute for me since I used this, but let's see here. I could have swore go like that and it would offer me an option to delete it, but it's not offering me that option. So let me try double click it. There we go. Okay, sorry. Okay, so you double click it and that brings up these options here. So you can set from normal to dark and multiply. So it's kind of like Photoshop or like Clip. It's also Manga Studio, which is now called Clip Paint Studio. And you can change these things to different mixes. So you can set a layer to like soft light and add some really cool effects to it. And I'm going to show some of that in just a second here. Let's keep it normal for now. You can also change the opacity. So double click it. You can also change the opacity of a layer, which is cool. You can duplicate the layer. You can hide the layer. You can clear the layer. There's a bunch of stuff on it. You can also lock the layer. You can merge it down with the layer below it, or you can delete the layer. So I'm going to click merge and see how it just merges down. If there was two things drawn on there, it would have merged them together. So for example, let's say I start sketching out the idea of a head here, and then as I'm doing that, as I'm sketching out this idea of the head, I'm like, you know what? Okay, I like that template, and I want to draw something else. So I hold this, drag it below. On the layer on top of that, I start to kind of add in, where things are going to be placed, like the eyebrows, and maybe where eyes might be. I'm kind of like holding this with my hand. It makes it a lot harder to draw that way. One of the easier ways to draw with this thing would be to actually set it on something at a slight angle. I'm gonna try that right now. Let's see here. Let's put it on this little pad right here on my desk. And then I want to merge these two layers together because notice they have different things on them. So if I double click this layer and go to merge, now all that's on that one layer. Everything I just drew is on this one layer. And then I can continue, to start, refining it and everything. This is more of a, kind of a cartoon type looking character here. And this is, at this point, how I sketch on the phone is I sketch, I like on my, it's a lot harder with this pen to kind of really control my lines, at a certain size and get really nice, just like perfect looking lines, because it's such a small screen. But anyway, so that's that idea. Then if I want to delete this layer, double click it. Now I can delete it. Or I can just hit clear and it's going to clear what's on the layer. So you don't have to delete it if you don't want to. You can just clear it. All right, so the next thing is we have this up here. This is a lot of options here. It gives you all these different tools. You got like if you're familiar with the programs, then you know what most of these will do. Like this will create an ellipse. This will create the pen tool. You have a line tool and just create a straight line. This creates lines, but it's like a vector. The wand tool, which will select different things. Like let's say you want to select an area of red. I'll show you what that means in a second. And then you have the transform tool. And so let's go with the transform tool. This is the full version. So you have inks and you have paints. Watercolors are some of my favorite things to do with this program. You have I don't find any of these, and like none of these to me are interesting. You can also create things, but I find watercolors are really cool, especially like this one right here I like a lot. This comes in handy for a lot of different things, and it just looks really cool, and you can kind of double up on it. And when you add different colors together, you get some really cool effects with it. So you can add layers. And you see it kind of reacts like watercolors. And then you have another watercolor one here that I like, this one here. And you can see how it kind of builds up, and you can keep building up that color. And then you can change the size of it up here. That's how you change the size of the brush you're using. You can change the amount of how strong it is, like the opacity it's going to have to it. So now notice now when I click on it, it's making more paint come out. So I can kind of go like this, boom, and then come again. And I notice how fast or long I hold it down for determines how much it bleeds. It's going to continue bleeding on the paper, just like watercolor would. Then you can hold it down again there, hold it down again. So it gets a really cool effect. If you're familiar with watercolors, you can actually make this work for you. Now let's say I had something like that and I wanted to move it around. So I go to transform, and I can move this around here, and it gives me those options. I have this option here, which is the free moving around. I can take the corners. I can move it this way. Let's say I want to add an angle now. This is good for like adjusting things like eyeballs and stuff that are on a different layer. You can scale, so you can actually move that where you want it, and now you can like scale it from that position, and then you can rotate it from that position. If you move that to the center again, it'll rotate in the center. So it just allows you different options to move objects around on the screen. So you can distort it. This allows you, like Photoshop, to add some perspective to it. And then you also have this more complicated distort here. And like I said, it comes in really handy for different things in the process of while you're drawing. Let's go ahead and save that just to give an idea of what you can do. Up here, like I said, these are all your tools, right? So this one here changes the size of the tool you're using. This one changes the color. And you also have pre-colors down here you can choose. You can also go to here and save those swatches. So you can pick a really cool color that, let's say you really like something like this color here, and then go to save it, and we'll just give it a palette name, and let's see if it shows up there. It might have to be long on the long version to see it. Let me see. I wonder if I can delete. There we go. We can bring the palette out here, but I'm trying to see if there's a way I can delete a color. Double clicking doesn't do that. Okay, well, for some reason, it's not letting me. I don't know why it's not letting me do that. But anyway, so I believe there's a way. I can't remember now how to do it now, but you can also go to click up here to like customize your color that way by adjusting the little things down here, and each one, like I said, I want a slightly more gray, things like that. This gives you more options for swatches. And then let's say I could have swore there's a way to actually, let me see if I save it now, what happens. Palette 1. So anyway, I can't remember where that goes to. I think it might be, let me try something real fast. If I switch it up and down, maybe. No, it's not. You can also choose this to pick a color. Now that color will go there. So that's how you can get a color off your screen. Anyway, so I can't remember how to, sorry about that. I just can't remember how to create swatches. You can look up, tutorials on how to create a new swatch. And yeah, I just can't remember. I never usually use a swatch if I do pick one of these colors that are available to me, but I usually use this right here. I like to have fresh colors each and every time. It's honestly, I recommend that. It's better to focus on using the color wheel as if you had only a few colors to choose from, or you can, it's cool to make a palette too, but unfortunately I can't remember how to do that. But I like just being able to come here and bam, pick the colors I want each time. And then if I already have a color out there that I like and I'm using, then I can keep using that. You can also make a swatch palette really fast too on the actual screen itself, and then just hit your thing to pick from it. And the way to do that would be, let's say, an ink brush or something like that, and then change the size here. Let's say I like this color, so that's gonna be, one swatch right there. I'm gonna make it even bigger to make this easier to make the swatch there. There we go. And let's say I want another color, and I want it to be kind of like this here, like that. And then, oops, I want another color. I don't know. Let's say this kind of like orangish brown kind of color. I want to use that. So now I can just, whenever I want a new color, I can go here, I can click on my icon, and I can choose what color I want for my swatches over here. Now I have that color, and I can start working with it. This is your backup button, so if you did something you don't like, you can reverse time. It's basically like your undo button. I do apologize about my voice. I was like hesitant. I've been sick 2 times in a row. I haven't been sick in like over 10 years, and all of a sudden I get sick twice in a row. Well, there was like a few days apart, maybe a week or something. Then first it started out with a chest flu, and then this cold, which is very similar, but not quite the same. Anyway, so you have your eraser tool here. Same options. You can change the size of the eraser. You can change here the, well, in that case, it's just going to, be like this. And then you have the opacity of it. So if you want it to be, less opacity, see now it erases like that. So it's not erasing like flat out. So I can just erase in parts, as you can see. Or I can go back to full eraser. Now this tool here is kind of like a, finger painting tool where you can, pull paints and kind of blend them together. In this case, you want to, make sure your brush, I like it small, and I like to use it to just blend like edges together or something. Like let's say one of those edges kind of blended together. Let's say one of these 2 colors blend together. I can just take the edge right here and just kind of blend right there like that. Bam, now I got like a decent blend between those 2 colors. You can also change the detail or the opacity of it. If you turn the detail here, it's going to change how it interacts with colors. So let's go ahead and put down some bigger colors here really fast. I'm going to go ahead with some paint. Let's take this color here first. And the paint tools are okay. I don't care for them too much. Like this kind of like oil painting. It's kind of interesting, especially for abstract, if you want to just do like individual strokes like this and do that kind of, impressionism type thing. Not necessarily abstract, but like more of an impressionistic type. And then let's say I wanted to get a different color, kind of like this blue here. I'm going to add it right here like so. Then I can take that finger tool now, and I can add, I can start blending these colors together, like this. And this does have pressure sensitivity, so how hard I press on the screen does change. I want to show that right now with a different tool. Let's go ahead and go back to layers here, double click, and we'll clear it. So let's go to the drawing, the sketch tool here. I'm going to use the basic pencils, my favorite. So change this to black, and then we'll change the size here. That's probably a good size for sketching. Now, as you can see, if I draw hard, like I'll draw soft to hard, you can see how it's like a pen, right? If I were to like write letters, so you can see how it looks like, you know, writing. If I were to like sign my name, you can see like it looks like an actual thing. And you can also do that with the ink pen tool, the right ink pen. But so as I'm sketching, I can start off, you know, really light-handed, and then I can, you know, go like this and stuff. And then say I want to dedicate something, and I want to make it harder. I can just press a little bit harder, and now I got a harder, you know, line there. And you can also zoom in. So you use two fingers. You can't see me doing this. I'm going to describe how I'm doing it. The same way you would zoom in and out of things on your phone if you're used to using the Note 5 or any phone that lets you zoom in. And you can like twist your fingers to turn it around and zoom in and out by just making your fingers stretch wider or closer together. It makes you use two fingers when you want to move stuff, because if not, then you just draw a line. Now I can focus on that line work more up close and like zoomed in, so I can add greater detail. Like so. Let's say this is more of a guy's. Do this very quickly here, so I'm not like trying to draw it all like perfect. It's like more like just a quick sketch. I can come out, make that more better and smoother or whatever. But you get the idea. You know, for sketching. And then, you know, when you want to come in and do actual inking, you can do that as well. Let's say, you know, my sketch came out too dark or whatever, right? So I can go to here and I can turn the opacity down, which is good. I think when you lock the layer, it makes where I can't do nothing on it. Unfortunately, I don't think you can lock pixels, which would be really nice, because then you can just change what, you know, what color that you were drawing with. But what you can do is this is like take your well, let's say here, see if I can do this. I believe this works. Take your spray gun here, and we'll go to this, and then change it to, I believe if we, just want to see something real quick. This is for drawing in perspective, by the way, really helpful. So I'm trying to see. Obviously, if I just draw on here, so just do that. Actually, that's not even a spray gun. It's, well, maybe it is. Okay, it's just like, okay. And I don't know if how can you change? I don't know, I can't remember if you can change the tool. I don't think you can actually. Let me see. You could do this kind of stuff here, but none of it is going to let me change the. Nope. I wanted to change it to like screen or something like that, but it's not going to let me. And if I start a new, this lets you kind of test out the changes you made. And I'm going to say no because I don't want to change it. Anyway, so sketch a different color. I recommend that if you're going to be inking in black, obviously. So, cut! Okay. Hopefully I remember to cut that out. Sorry if I didn't. All right, so then instead what I'm going to do, I'm just going to turn on the opacity. So, like so, it's just much easier if it's a different color, but you can also turn on the opacity a lot, and then take this layer here since it's blank still instead of creating a new one. And then you take your ink brush, and let's see, what ink brush do I like to ink with? I think I like either this one, and then I got to check the size here. I just want to see if it allows me to go thin to dark, which it does. I'm on the wrong layer though. Let's go back to 0. Let's see here. Actually, that one's not. I mean, it does a little bit, but there's not that much. There's a little bit of control with it, but I don't know. It's not the one I like. So let's try this one. That's obviously not it. That's not, how is that even an ink brush? Yeah, this one's pretty cool. Then you can just the size. You don't want it to be too big. Anyway, so that might be too small. Yeah, it's a little too small. Let's make it a little bit bigger. All right, there we go. It's a little bit better. And as you can see, you can actually get some pretty nice ink work done. And then I'm going to kind of add some little details here. And when I'm inking, I try not to like make every little detail. I leave things out. That is, I'll break up some lines here and there. But anyway, this isn't like a real drawing. I'm just kind of showing how to do some of the tools. Now I can color that. Start coloring by putting more pressure on it. I can color this in. I want a little bit of gap right here, just kind of show, some of the hairs coming off like that. Might even come up with a couple lines up here, maybe a couple lines right here, and I might come and complete this a little bit more. Obviously, I need to color in the pupil, color more of the eye all together like that, and there you go. So this is my favorite inking brush in here. It works really good. It actually kind of feels a lot like an inking brush would in other programs. I really like that. You can really come thin with it and come thicker, and notice it kind of corrects itself, and it's nice. So it's one you can really go take your time with and really make different things. So if I was to do like lip or something like that, for example, let's go ahead. I'm just going to clear this out real fast. And might as well clear this one too. So let's say I wanted to draw like lips. I like to have, I should probably use this layer since I'm doing black here. Let's say I'm coming down here. I like to leave lines. I don't like to draw every single thing, like if that makes sense. I'm like leaving space here, but notice that not everything is filled in, and I like that. I think it's it adds a cool factor to the drawing. And I might let's say if I was just doing like an ink only drawing, I could do some pen shading there and do some pen shading right here on the lip to kind of add some detail there. But there you go. That'd be like, if you wanted to, you could even draw maybe just hinting at teeth, Then you can kind of fill in this part with some other color, right? So as you can see, yeah, very, very cool, awesome pen tool. And that's pretty much it as an overview of things you can do. There's a lot of these different tools here. You can fill stuff in. So let's say I draw like a circle, and I want to fill it in with a different color. I can go to the fill tool. So a lot of this stuff is pretty much as you would expect with another program. And then I might want to come back in here and then just kind of fix up the edges right there, because you can see it, there's that kind of those white lines. And let's say I wanted to change that red color to something else. I can go here and choose the magic wand tool, select that color, and actually the magic wand tool is not working like I expected it to in this program. I created a mask. Huh. Okay, well, that's totally different than I expected. Not even sure how that works. So I never used it before. I figured it would work like the magic wand tool and other ones. But anyway, you can check a rectangle and you can, like, let's say select like this, and then you can transform it or cut it or clip it or erase it, or just try out these different things, see what it does. I didn't know I had a path tool, which is kind of cool. So I guess the path tool is, I think if you were to that, okay, I see. Oh, I see. You can set up more than one. I got the straight line tool. Now I should be able to draw a straight line. There you go. Bam. And so use whatever pen you're using. So notice now it has that kind of pen look to it. But this comes in really handy for doing certain things. Like let's say you're drawing a boat, and you really just want to like quickly lay out the mast part of the boat, whatever. You can do that, and like bam, you got like the mast part of your boat. So it's really cool for drawing straight lines, and then you can change the width of your straight line tool here, and you can make different straight lines. Really good for drawing perspective lines and all kinds of things like that. So the straight line tool, very, very cool. And you just click it again to get rid of it. So I guess how you do that. And so then you can start using these different tools and experiment with them. They're like the radial tool, I think. Trying to see what it does exactly. I'm not really sure. I haven't really experimented with it yet, so I don't know how that one works either. Sorry, but yeah, and that allows you to turn the mask off and on. Okay, cool. So that's just a quick overview, and let's go ahead and well, I guess I drew a pair of lips, so that's something. It's okay. Let's say we want to go here and create a whole new thing, or we want to save this. You can save it, or if you want to open a file you've created, or you want to export this, you can export this somewhere. So say like, hey, I want to export this, and you can save it however you want to save it, and then it'll give you options to export to your different programs. And you can also save it into your actual regular image area where you have your images and photos and stuff, and then you can go from there and then share it wherever you want to share it. Lastly, let's go ahead and just click these three buttons here and start a new. And I'm going to go, you can either save a copy or save. I'm not going to save because I don't care for this. I'm just going to discard it. And this is where you choose your property settings. So right now I have it as a landscape because of how I have this set. Typically this would be the big number if you want it vertical. And there's different templates you can choose between and things like that. And once you do that, it creates that screen for you. And that allows you to begin doing what you want to do. All right, so you can also, I like working at a slightly bigger opacity usually. That way I can zoom in more. And anyway, but it's up to you how you want to work. Let's say draw an eye here. Just a quick sketch of one. One of the tricks I like to do, actually, I'll show you a trick with eyeballs before I get out of this program, is I like to set up this kind of shape right here. This is like the basic shape right there. And then from that, I can kind of tweak this part and kind of come up here, and I can kind of come down here just a little bit more. And at this stage, I'm not trying to draw it nicely yet because I'm not inking. I'm just trying to get the sketch. When you're far away, it's hard with this program to get nice, clean, perfect lines. So now I have the basic setup of my eye here. And I just find this shape works really nicely. That's to be where all the shadow goes. I can even start to kind of sketch sort of how it's going to look. That's to be where I'll have maybe one right there. Very thin line here, and then we'll have the eyebrow like that. Just to kind of mark the spaces where I want some of my eyelashes here, and then the lower eyelashes. Bam, like that. And then I can take this layer, turn the opacity down just a little bit, create a new layer on top of that layer, and then I'm going to turn my brush up just a little bit. And I'm going to zoom in now, and this is where I can actually start doing actual inking. Start out light. Oops. Back that up. I might have to turn the opacity down this one just a little bit more because I can't. No. If you click 3 times, it automatically goes to delete. So, dang, I did it again. Okay, there we go. Sometimes just clicking it once it works. All right, cool. Let's turn that down quite a bit. Go back up to this layer, and then we start inking. So I'm going to start light. Also, the other negative thing about this program I can say is that, or about drawing in general, this is the pen. The pen's so tiny. I wish it were longer, but I understand there's only so much room they have inside the phone, to place this thing. Sometimes, oops, that kind of messed that up. I can always back it up. I have to go like that, depending on how thick I have the brush, but. And like I said, I like to not always complete my shapes here when I'm drawing. I'm going to kind of use my 2 fingers here and move this around a little bit. Like so. I usually, with this program, I like to fill it in by hand. But I don't do a lot of inking and stuff with this program because I like to draw sometimes with the inking brush to get a final sketch, just because it works really good. But typically I don't try to do finished work on this thing. I use it for when I'm out and about and I just have an idea in my head. I'm like, you know what? That would be kind of cool, and I need to draw right then and there. And let's say I don't have like a pen and paper with me or anything else to draw with, then I find this is kind of fun just to throw down some quick sketches and just get an idea of something. And I'm like, okay, cool, and I can save that. And also, it's like if I'm in the middle of a restaurant or whatever, and I'm just kind of like waiting for my food, I'm bored. I can go ahead and bust this thing out and just do like a quick, like drawing slash watercolor thing or something, and I can save that and just upload it to my Instagram just for, hey, I did something today. So it comes in handy for certain things. I'm gonna go ahead and color this whole thing in so I can then come back with let's go ahead and make this bigger here, make it faster to color. I want to add all this thicker here like that, turn it back to a smaller size brush here. This is where I'm going to start coloring it in, and I'm going to start going with line work, and this is all depending on what kind of style you want to work in. I'm just doing this very quickly here. Then I'm going to go to white, or I can erase it either way. I'm going to put in my white highlight there and my white highlight there. And there you go. And then I'll go back to black, and we'll add this final line here like so. Then I can add some smaller lashes. You can either push down hard and go thin. And these aren't coming out good for some reason. I'm going to do some thin ones first in all different directions, because eyelashes they're not all facing the same way on those bottom lashes. But if I want to, be more stylistic, I'm going to make my brush just a little bit bigger. And then I'm going to zoom in just a little bit here. Start light and then hard. And then keep doing that. So light and then hard like that. That's how you can get the lashes to be that shape you want to where that way if I were to draw a little bit bigger, it'd be like light and hard like that. So it's kind of has that shape to it. Alright, so there we go. Now we can zoom out here and we can see the eye. And there you go. So that's how to use a Note 5 for drawing with Infinite Painter. And also you can use other phones that allow you, or other tablets and stuff that allow you to use some sort of stylus with pressure sensitivity. Now what's really cool about this program is it is free, and the sketching tools for the free version are awesome. So I think you get the basic pen brush and you get the basic pencil brush and stuff for free. I think you might even get an airbrush tool for free, and I think maybe one watercolor brush, can't remember. But the watercolors are really cool. If I want to like color this in really fast, we can do that. But anyway, so it's just really great because it takes advantage of the pressure sensitivity of your Note 5 pen. I think it also, the Note 4 also supports pressure sensitivity. But let's go ahead real quickly here and finish this out with watercolors. And I'm going to use the Monet. I really like that one a lot. Works really good. And then we can go to, let's say, some sort of skin kind of tone, but I like to use a little bit more reds. And you can kind of fill all this in with that color, and it's going to kind of bleed around. And then we can add a little bit more color in some of these parts here, making it darker. We can also erase if we wanted to add some parts where there's light. Then we can change different colors. But as you can see, you can start already setting up that look to it. You can also do this on a layer underneath it, so you're not covering up your ink. And let's see if I've went too far already with my undos. Looks like I haven't, so there we go. I'm going to make another layer. I'm going to draw it underneath I'm going to drag it, if it lets me, hold it, drag it underneath my pen layer here. I'm going to make this big, because I want to really just kind of fill this area in really fast with some skin tone. Add a little bit darker right here around the eye, a little bit around the crease of the eye right there. Obviously a lot of darker right here, and then dark underneath the eye on this side more than the other side. And I'm going to take kind of a bluish color, kind of a blue-gray color, and I want to go right here along the eye with it, like so. And then we're going to get kind of a little more colorful blue. Never use like full true colors because it's, you know, you don't really want like super bright colors so that they look kind of strange. Then I like to add more than one kind of color, so it's like add some maybe lighter blue in here to the eye, and then maybe take even a yellow or something, or a bright kind of like almost green turquoise color, and add just a little bit of that color into the eye as well, so it has more than one color to it. You could take your eraser tool and maybe kind of start, and I'm going to turn the opacity down, this one here, and kind of start erasing just some of this right here so it's not so pronounced. And then I'm going to make it a little bit smaller, right about there. And I want all this right here to be white, so I want like a white line running along here, but I don't want it too white because that's naturally how eyes look. And then let's get rid of some of this color inside here. You can also turn the opacity back up anytime to save some time, and if you wanted to straight cut into color like that, it makes it faster to erase. I didn't mean to do that last one, that line at the bottom of the eye. Right, so there's that, and then you can add other colors if you needed to with the watercolors. So we're still on the same watercolor brush here, and let's say I want to add a little bit of purplish kind of color tone to in this area here, like so. And then I want to add some, like, let's say really light color, and I'm going to use kind of like a yellowish orange. That's going to go right here. This is where light typically hits, like so, like that. Now another thing you can do is you can actually create another layer, and this maybe add a little bit of light right here just to kind of show that that color is not perfectly white. There we go, like that. You can add more colors too as well, but just a quick way to, you know, color things. I think it looks really cool too when you're done. Of course, this is just an eye, so the outside is kind of very abstract looking. You can do whatever you want. Okay, so there we go. Now we have our eyeball. And then one last thing I want to show you is the layer properties. So if I were to go to make another layer, double click on it. Oops. All right, so we can go to normal. I'm going to set this to, we can do a color burn or something like that, or I'm going to go to, I like soft light and overlay, so let's go to overlay. So now it should be set to overlay. Do I have to click outside here now? Okay, it says overlay right there. So now when I choose a color and it goes over, it's going to overlay it. It acts a little different. So especially if I choose like a really bright color here, and I come over here somewhere, notice how it really changes how that color works. It doesn't interact with the color underneath it the same. It kind of almost like it's neon. See how it's starting to brighten up right there? And that's really cool when you want that kind of look somewhere. And I like it, you know, right here in the eyeball. Maybe this a little bit right here. And it just adds that kind of cool look to it. So this is, I think it's good for things like metal and things like that, where you want to add that metal to like sword or something like that. It would be really nice. You can throw down some color. Let's say, got your paint here. You have this kind of blue-gray color, and let's just say it's like right here. That's right. I'm on the overlay layer, so it's not going to work. Let's say this is the sword. Like that. You get the idea though. Let's say something like that, right? And I want this to really be bright. So then I can come back over up here, and it's already selected, so I'm going to just pick a lighter color. And as I come over it, look at that. It's going to start, you know, because it's on the overlay layer, it's going to be brighter. And it's going to start to act like, and then I'm going to pick a different kind of brush. Let's say I can either go back to the watercolor brush to do this, but that's going to add a little texture, which I don't want because we're doing metal. So I'm just going to my pencil brush, one of my sketching brushes here, and just make it big. This is like honestly one of the things I like to paint with on this thing. If it, you know, when it's not too small, it kind of limits how big you can get it. But as I go over that, you can kind of see if as you add it, how it kind of starts looking kind of neonish. And you can, you know, use something like gold or like a kind of a bright yellow color, When you go over it, it's going to have that overlay look to it. Now, if you really want it to glow a lot, you can change this to color burn. Or not color burn. In this case, it should be color dodge, sorry. Color dodge is really going to bring it out like super. You can also do hard light, pin light. There's different things. Saturation, which is just do that color. But the main ones for neon type stuff is overlay, soft light. But in this case, soft light's more for like not quite vivid light, but it's too much. And so I think the best would be color dodge. But you want to be really careful how you use the color dodge. So if we go back to this layer here, and let's say I don't know if this pencil brush is bigger. Not really. That's the only thing about the pencils is. Let's try an ink brush, maybe something like this one here. I think allows me to make it big and still paint with it. Now let's use the color here. I want it to be a little bit on the blue side. Okay, I think it's that's right. The dodge layer. I need to take my eraser tool first. Erase what's on the dodge layer. That way you can see what's underneath. All right, now let's go back underneath. I'm gonna paint all this in real fast. Again, just pretend this is a sword. I'm not trying to make it, look perfect or anything. Just trying to make it look like it has that kind of shape to it and a little bit of a lighter color on the side of the sword. Let's say I want it to really look like it's glowing in between. You can also use the spray brush works good for this as well. Actually, I don't know if I want to do that particular one. But anyway, on the dodge layer, you can see how you can really bring that out. If you just want it to look like it's glowing a little bit, and obviously you need to pick a brighter color and kind of like orangish, just to kind of make it look like more like light. And that's probably a little too orange. But anyway, you get the idea. You can see I can really add that brightness to it. Let's just say I just want a little bit of shine, and I'm going to go back with, let's say this one. This might actually add too much shine. I think I might stay with that one actually. Just want to turn the size down a little bit. And I want it to like be glowing like right there. So you can add that glow a couple times, and I want it to kind of glow on the top. And then you can make it bigger and just kind of fade out how it glows. You get the idea anyway. And now it kind of adds that kind of glow effect to it. And you can do this to your eyes as well. I'm gonna do it right on top of this. Well, actually, I have to move this layer on top of it, but I'm not gonna do that. Well, actually, I could actually. And then I can add that because it'll be right. It should be above. It's not letting me. I mean, it's letting me do it. You see how it's letting me lighten all that up, but it's not letting me do what I want to do. You can make a photo look blown out a little bit, or you make your painting look blown out in certain parts with this tool. As you can see, it starts looking blown out right there. But yeah, anyway, so you get the idea. I wanted to kind of color over the black first, but it wouldn't let me. All right, hopefully that has been helpful and helps you see how you can use this program. Again, I like using it for like I said, quick sketch ideas and things like that. You can actually see some of the ones I've done on my Instagram. My Instagram should be right here on the art channel, so just go to About Me on the channel. Well, first off, just click on my Learn to Draw name right there below the video, and that'll take you to my channel's homepage, and then click on About, and then under About Me, you should see all my other like Google Plus and website, and I should have my Instagram there linked up. I'm not sure. If not, my Instagram is on my website, masterpaintingnow.com. And so yeah, if you enjoyed this, then please go ahead and leave a thumbs up. And then click that share button, and yeah, that'd be awesome. Again, I apologize for my voice. Thank you for watching.